Tonight, uno de esos stories que a mí me encantan. Young people working hard and securing success. Nigel Canepa, his new movie is out and it's available globally on Amazon Prime. He'll be telling us all about that. And it's also a great leap for Gibraltar's creative scene. So do stay with us. An all-new Cinepulse starts beating right now. Dale, Wes. Good evening, mi gente. It's 9:05 on this Monday night. We're live from Broadcasting House. It's time for an all-new Cinepulse, of course, and together we're getting to know Gibraltar that little bit better. Remember, we can't do so without your help. Y se habéis estado portando súper bien over the last few weeks. You've been sending us loads of letters con el sellito que me encanta, traditional letters coming in the post, and also those emails which have already started to arrive this evening. We're going to open up those channels of communication. Dale, Wes, cinepulse@gbc.gi. That's the email to write to with all those community issues which you want us to discuss in part 2. Tonight, veremos ver, la cosa va a estar calentita. We got Michelle Ruggeroni and Mr. Cardona, que I can report and confirm, está tranquilito, at least for now. They'll be joining us in part 2 tonight. So start sending in those issues. Remember, you can also engage in the conversation online. GBC Cinepulse, that's the hashtag to use. But of course, we get to know Gibraltar that little bit better through the people, la gente. And tonight me gusta because it's a young guest. Me encanta cuando viene gente joven, gente who are working hard, as you heard there. And not just working hard and achieving, they're securing success a lo grande, because Amazon Prime, quite a name. Welcome to Cinepulse, Nigel Canepa. ¿Cómo estamos? Bien?
Thanks, Kev. Yeah, not too bad.
Good?
Good.
Yeah. That new movie, it's available not just locally in el Queen Cinema de toda la vida, it's available globally on Amazon Prime. It's called Tragic Waste, ¿no?
Yep.
Y es una película de miedo, it's horror.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Mostly gory, I would say. There's a lot of gore in the film. But yeah, it's out on Amazon. It was shown locally at the cinema a couple of weeks ago. It seems to be doing very well on Amazon. We've got a lot of fans writing in and reaching out to us, so that kind of tells us it's doing pretty well.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah? I mean, nowadays, being able to get your product out there to a global audience at the same time, a movie, que ya hablaremos, there's a lot of hard work that goes into a movie. Gibraltar doesn't have a film industry tampoco, so I suppose there's a number of challenges there as well.
Absolutely.
Pero me llama la atención, young person, se te ve un tío calladito, formalito, me cae muy bien, we had coffee, you come across como un tío formalito.
Thank you.
Horror. Llama la atención.
Yeah, I'm a huge horror fan since a very young age. I'll tell you a little story. There was a show on Cartoon Network growing up called Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's basically about this little dog who lives in the middle of nowhere, and every day he comes across weird monsters and creatures. And I saw that at the age of 4 or 5. So that already sparked something. I just enjoyed the thrill of unnatural creatures. Flash forward till, well, maybe about another 6, 7 years. I watched The Mummy. I was obsessed with Egypt.
The original or the remake? Because you're young enough to maybe have lived the remake instead of the original.
The 1999
So,
version.
bueno, that's the second one, because the original was even older.
The original was the
Acabo de acordar.
1930s.
That's right, that's
with,
right.
The guy who played Frankenstein's monster.
That's right, yeah.
His name, Boris Karloff. Yeah. So I saw the 99 one, which wasn't really a horror film, but there was some horrific things in it, which sparked off my huge interest in horror. There's obviously a little bit, I'm a little bit sort of worried about, well, not worried, but there's sort of an insecurity about being a horror fan because...
Te iba a preguntar.
Yeah.
Te entra un poquito para... I mean, I read a lot of horror. I read a lot. I like books. I love reading horror. I read a lot of new authors, independent authors. Y da un poquito vergüenza a veces. When you got the book or you got a Kindle, you can sort of disimularlo un poquito.
Yeah.
Because da un poquito vergüenza, you know, people a veces might... Horror's always got that bit of a stigma, no? You're un poquito like...
It does.
You think people are going to think you're perhaps weird because you read horror. You're writing horror as well, which is another thing, no?
Yeah. I guess you're right. There is a stigma attached, no? That if you enjoy horror films, you're a psychopath or you're warped or something. nothing could be further from the truth. I'm nothing but. I just enjoy the thrill of something that really keeps me engaged, that gives me a few scares. I definitely prefer horror to comedy or romance or anything like that. But yeah, as we were saying, there is an insecurity about being a horror writer and being a horror director. You often think that your audience are going to associate the things you write with your mind and your personality. But then again, some of the biggest horror directors, even in the modern day, Damien Leone, who directed Terrifier, is a totally normal guy. But yeah, it's a bit of a worry sometimes. I guess it crosses my mind.
The film's called Tragic Waste, so that the audience get a bit of a flavour. Vamos a hablar de la película un poquito en detalle now. We're going to play them a trailer now, so the audience gets to see what the movie is all about.
Ravensville's no place for a girl to grow up, Bill.
We've discussed this. We're not moving.
Watch out!
She's not here.
What's she gonna do? Come and kill us all?
There we see the trailer, the teaser for the movie. Loads to talk about, loads to unpack. First and foremost, the trailer's out.
Yeah.
The movie's out on Amazon Prime. ¿Cómo se siente? Now, I suppose you're already getting feedback. How does it feel? Does it feel real?
Yeah, it feels real, but also what feels a little bit surreal is the fact that we did this in the space of a year. This time last year, the script was still going through changes. We shot this in February, and we got it out as quick as we could. But it does feel a little bit surreal sometimes to think that, so much hard work that went into that, all of a sudden it's out there in the public eye so quickly.
Yeah.
But I understand you've seen the film, Kev.
I have. I watched it last night. I meant to watch it early in the week, but I was too busy. Y lo vi anoche. And te digo, there's loads to unpack from that trailer. I really enjoyed it. No te estoy diciendo just because you're here.
Yeah.
There's loads, and maybe they can be talking points for this conversation.
Sure.
I loved, it was based in Gibraltar, but it's not Gibraltar. It's based physically in Gibraltar. Gibraltar.
That's right.
But the town in the movie is not Gibraltar.
Correct.
So I found it very interesting to see my Gibraltar depicted in a different way, in a horrific way as well. I loved recognizing all the voices there, which I realized as well, we can have that talking point. It can be challenging, perhaps, for a local audience to consume a product featuring so many well-known faces, no? Perhaps that suspension of belief, no? Plan. I loved the local sounds. I love, in terms of the music, the spoken as well. The movie's in English. It's monolingual English, but still you can actually hear that Gibraltarian sound in the way, the delivery of those lines. Local bands, local music. I mean, me encantó. I mean, and then it's a thriller, un horror, and it's what it's meant to be, no? Horrors es un poquito eso about el fright, el miedo, but also the thrill and the fun of that, no? I think.
Yeah.
So for me, tick the boxes. And me encanta, all local product. Y ahí está, en plan, now out there for the world to consume. And actually see Gibraltar, because they won't know what Gibraltar's all about, but independent, this is a small independent movie.
Correct.
With a lot of people who are volunteers and not full-time actors, which I love as well. Another element there to talk about. Huge community support, loads of people becoming involved in your project, which is mágico. So you must be feeling really good. The number of people you coordinated to make the project a reality.
Yeah, and I couldn't have done it with, if one of them, if that missing link wouldn't have been there, the film just would have never happened. So I'm appreciative to all of them. But going off what you said about Gibraltar, something you might be interested in, we've had some comments from fans that have seen the film and they want to visit Gibraltar, to be able to visit the streets that we filmed on and go and see some of the locations that we used. So already it's pulling in tourism.
Of course. ¿Qué es lo que te iba a decir? Because with big movies, everybody likes them. But perhaps people are not as obsessed with the tiny details, which independent, smaller movies have that pulling power.
Yeah.
Cult movies, they have that extra pulling power. Their fans are super fans, no?
Yeah, that's right.
They're always interested in knowing, where was that filmed? Why does he speak like that? They want to know every single detail. And it's usually associated with horror, with small independent cinema and movies. So I think it's a great tool for Gibraltar. What's not to love? Me ha preguntado, ¿te ha gustado? Me ha encantado across all those boxes. Vamos, ticks all those boxes. Pero mira, people at home are still wondering un poquito, I think. What's the movie about? Cuéntanos un poquito the basic premise.
Yeah, so, trying to be as brief as possible here, but the film is about
Your own time.
A young girl who is who's killed. She's run over by a bunch of cops that are on a night out. They're abusing drugs, they're drinking, and they run her over and they kill her. This happens in the first 10 minutes, so it's not much of a spoiler. They panic a little bit. They're a little bit sort of caught between doing the right thing, owning up, but also, their job and the fact that they've got drugs in their system. So they dump the body. And the mum of this girl finds out who these men are. You'll have to watch the film to see how that happens. And she conjures up a spirit. We call him the demon, though he's not entirely a demonic figure. He's sort of, you could call him an angel of righteousness, if you want, And he hunts down these men one by one. That's kind of the plot in a nutshell, but there's some twists along the way. And
we don't want to give away too much. We want people to watch that movie. It's available on Amazon Prime, por si no se han quedado con el cante todavía.
And of course, called Tragic Waste, after the literary term which we use in analysing literature, especially Shakespearean sort of plays and works. Tragic Waste, the idea is that there's a single event that occurs that perhaps didn't need to happen, which has a fatal line of consequence. And by the end of it, you've got a huge waste of potential and life and all that.
So that's a premise. I mean, you spoke about your childhood and what you liked and what drew you to horror. Any real-life inspirations or any stories you might have heard which might have influenced or helped you produce this?
Not really, no.
Piece?
Mostly fiction, but they say that sometimes real life is worse than fiction. But some inspiration came from a very famous horror film called I Spit on Your Grave.
Vale.
It's a revenge film, which is what Tragic Waste is. And just taking bits and pieces of films that I really enjoy and piecing it together into my own little project.
Making it your own and coming up with your own project, no?
Yeah.
Mira, we spoke about the number of locals involved, which is something that I like when I watch, which I enjoyed seeing on the screen, no? All local actors, but there was an American actor that many of our viewers might recognize, no?
Yeah, that's right. Kostas Mandylor. He's Greek, actually, but he spent many years in America.
Yeah. He's known for the Saw movies, no?
Yeah, exactly. He's known for Saw. His brother is also very famous. He was in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He was in Friends. But Kostas, that's in there, yeah. He's done Saw. He was in Once Upon a Time, the Disney Princess series. He's done countless works on film.
Y la pregunta,
Yeah.
how did you get him to come to Gibraltar, appear in your movie? I mean,
I made friends with him a few years ago on another project. He likes Gib. He's been here a number of times, sort of in the background, not wanting to raise so many eyebrows. And we've got a great friendship. We're in touch, and I just asked him if he was willing to do it. He said yes, but I have a price. There's no friend discounts or anything, which is fair.
Yeah.
And yeah, he came over, about a month after I cast him. He was here filming. It was immediate. These guys kind of work on almost a weekly schedule.
yeah.
So yeah, he was here for about a week. He filmed, I think it was about 4 days that he was on set. And that's it. And he was on to the next one.
I see long process as well, no? Coming up with the idea, scripting it, all that's redrafting as well.
Yeah.
Then suppose scouting for locations, because I think you thought about filming in Gibraltar for ease as well, no?
Yeah.
You live here, and the cast of characters available to you lived locally as well, no? But loads of logistics, no? In a Gibraltar where we don't really have a film industry.
That's right, yeah.
So, ¿cómo funciona eso? ¿Cómo trabaja eso?
A lot of hard work, a lot of hours. Very thankful to my team, Jim Crone especially, my producer Orlando Cerveto. Without their influence, that wouldn't have happened, honestly. But as you said, location scouting, looking for cast, all these things, even props and sets. We built our own sets for a lot of the scenes, which is a lot of hard work in itself. So all that was sort of a pre-production phase that started in December, I think. And then February we started filming for about an initial 4 weeks, and then we added another 2 weeks in May. We shot some extra scenes to help the pace of the film.
Okay. And interestingly, you say 6 weeks para grabar la película.
Yeah.
But most of your cast, they're not full-time actors. They had day jobs as well.
That's right, yeah.
Another logistical nightmare there, no, supongo?
Yeah, definitely. The schedule that we shot was, almost sometimes in complete reverse order. We shoot according to availability, according to location availability. So logistically, it was difficult, but we pulled through. Luckily, the cast I had were very eager to do this. They were all on board. So they made my life easier, I suppose,
Y casting the actors who went on to play the roles in the movie, how did that go about? I mean, we do have a scene in Gibraltar, no? People involved in the theatre, the drama festival está haciendo bien ahora, it's in good health again. How did you go about that?
Well, I'll tell you something. There's an issue with casting stage actors in films, and the issue is that stage actors often act a little bit sort of over the top because they have to captivate their audience and make their...
The medium's difference, claro.
Yeah, completely. So some of the stage actors we had on set, we had to tell them to sort of dumb it down a bit because their acting was over the top. But the majority of the main cast, with the exception of Harriet, who's just been on the screen.
Yeah, Harriet from Radio Gibraltar.
That's right,
yeah. Will know her.
Yeah. The others were all amateur, with the exception of a couple of films here and there, maybe some documentaries. And those guys, again, gave it 110% effort. And I think the final product speaks for itself. Obviously, there's a lot of Janito accents, which has been sort of a negative comment. Some people say...
Negative comments by locals or the international audience? Because when you say Janito accent, it is monolingual in English, so referring to a style of
dialect,
English, no?
if you like, dialect.
La manera che pronunciamo l'inglese, no?
Yeah. Locals mostly will say, but your film, you can tell he's Janito. But of course, the film's not produced for Gibraltar, it's produced for the world.
Claro.
In fact, I'm hearing already that the film is going to do brilliantly in South America, where our dialect is fairly similar.
Yeah. The intonation, the speed, no?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's like now we have access to global cinema, no? On streaming platforms. Wes is just saying, no? Jamaican cinema or South African cinema. And we watch it, we consume it, and we're hearing their English with their own accents, with their own intonations as well, no?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's kind of been like the main negative, I suppose, which I don't see it as a negative. I think we should embrace our dialect and our the fact that we're so unique in the way we talk, no? But also, a lot of people might say there's a lot of gore in the film, but unfortunately, that's horror.
See, I mean, did you feel uncomfortable writing those scenes? And un poquito is like, have I gone too far, or should I take it there? Did you have that internal debate with yourself during the process?
To be honest with you, the first draft of the script was far gorier and far darker.
And then you start sailing down, no?
Yeah, I thought, well, let's see how far we can take it. Also within budget, of course. You know, if I had £1 million, I'd be creating some amazing, unique deaths on screen, but that couldn't be. But the initial script was pretty twisted, and I took advice from friends, family that suggested that maybe, you know, for your first film, this is not a good move. So, yeah, it went through about 6 drafts, I think.
Como te digo, another things that I like is that massive community support. We talked about the actors, those recognizable faces, but without having an industry in Gibraltar, you sort of created an industry in order to produce a movie and film it.
Yeah.
You said you constructed your own sets.
Yep.
You had makeup people. Una cosa que me encantó is like all the music was locally produced. I mean, our performers, our musicians, they all contributed to the movie, no?
Yeah, so my partner, Cyan Ward, who's
A sound go.
mixing the
Is
sound
here
as
on
we
the
talk.
Canepas, yeah.
She produced the main theme of the film, the Demons theme it's called. We also feature local bands, my ex-band, The Views, Dead City Radio, who I'm currently playing, I'm doing session work with.
And you got a gig coming up.
On Saturday, that's right, yeah.
Where's that? Where's that
That's
gig?
at the Ivy, and it's going to be a really good one. There's a lot of, you know, local musicians taking part, some big heavy names that are on the lineup for that. So that's Saturday at 9 o'clock. Doors open at the Ivy. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Dead City Radio feature. Ian Russo, who's a DJ, local DJ, his music is in. And yeah, it is a purely local production. There is no sort of outside investment or anything like that. It's entirely local, including the crew, the makeup ladies, Cheryl and Marlene, who did a great job. My producer, Orlando Charveto, who's very well known in Jib for being the owner of Jib Inc., of course.
Claro.
Entirely local.
So people working for free, people wanting to contribute, or maybe mostly free. You produce a movie, it's out there on Amazon Prime. Por eso te digo que, I mean, you asked me, ¿te gusta? Of course, it ticks all the boxes. I enjoyed it as a product, and then I enjoy the fact that a movie with a little budget, supported by a lot of locals, you've created an industry. Because you're too young to remember, perhaps, but in Gibraltar, over the decades, successive governments have always mooted or toyed with the idea of Gibraltar becoming a film hub.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just done it without that support. ¿Cómo lo ve? Can Gibraltar aspire to that, perhaps?
We're definitely not ready for that. Gibraltar has a lot of beautiful aspects that we can pull into film. It's got some very dark aspects too, like in Tragic Waste. But we're not ready for it to be a film industry. Unfortunately, the amount of red tape I saw producing this film was uncanny and it just wasn't on. You know,
What challenges, what problems did you face?
Permits.
Permits as in for
choosing
filming in areas.
certain locations. Yeah. There's just tons of stuff. You know, I could go on forever. But the main issue we had with this film, and there's actually a blooper reel about this very issue, the sound pollution in Jib. It just didn't cater for the fact that in film, you know, you usually use studios where sound is contained. There was 2 scenes in particular where there were some lads on motorbikes running a circuit around our location, and the amount of times we had to stop because of those motorbikes, it just wasn't on, you know. We should have shot that scene in half an hour, and it took us about 2 hours. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Jib thrive into that, but I think a lot of work needs to be done for Jib to prepare for a location for filming. It has a lot to offer.
I mean, I'll be honest, the movie does make some of our not so attractive side streets, they looked great on the screen.
Yeah.
They looked great on the screen. I think the cinematography was great.
Yeah, the
and
lighting.
I thought a side street looked beautiful in the movie.
In its own grungy way. You know,
Yeah. Well, it was adding to the character of the place, of the movie, and I thought they looked really good on the screen, no? Tell you what, for locals, I suppose it's also, there's another layer there to enjoy with watching the movie, no? Recognizing the actors, suspending that belief because you know them, recognizing the places. ¿Tú te puedes creer que it wasn't until the end of the scene that I realized that you filmed in the horseshoe wine
That's
town?
right, yeah. With Guy Olivero.
Claro.
You know, he featured. But locals will notice as well that there are scenes where a character enters a certain alleyway, which turns out to be a completely different alleyway.
Yes, yeah.
There's a shot, you might remember it, when Eve, who's played by Cecilia Pilcher, walks in through a doorway which is Midtown car park, and she ends up in the Lathbury car park, because that's where we continued that shoot. Actually, those two snippets were shot about a month apart. We finished filming, and then we realized we didn't have a shot of her arriving into the car park, so we called her very politely and asked if she'd be willing to dress up again and do that little snippet. But yeah, locals will say, well, how does she end up there? But you know, international audiences won't know any better.
Y mira, we're going to watch a scene now. I think it's outside Paparazzi, the Paparazzi restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
That you filmed. We'll play that. We'll play that first, and now we'll discuss something.
Yeah, sure.
Action.
So filming there, in the heart of town, oscura, in the night. Los llanitos somos curiosos por naturaleza, I suppose. Were people like, ¿qué está grabando? And interrupting you all the time?
Yeah.
Because we get it for television all the time.
Yeah.
That's another challenge, no?
It actually happened on that day, and on that scene was when we had the biggest influx of you know, people just coming down in their dressing gowns to watch. But that wasn't our main challenge, because people usually respond if you ask them to move along. The main challenge was actually stopping traffic, because that road wasn't shut for us. So every now and again we'd have to let traffic flow. I remember we got one of the rubbish lorries stopping right in front of us for a while. You know, you had a big Hollywood star there having to smell the local rubbish. But yeah, there were quite a few challenges with that scene, which lasts, I think, 30 seconds in the film or less, but took about 3 hours to do.
Because the attention to detail, the number of takes, you might film something, then you might want another close-up, so
Exactly.
you had to do it again. And like 30 seconds of getting something on screen can take hours, even days to film, no?
Yeah,
a lot of
correct.
hard work.
Especially the gory scenes. You know, slight spoiler, but there is a character who gets bashed on the head by a computer monitor. That scene, I think, took the longest because every time the demon sort of hits him with a screen, we had to pause, get makeup in, put more blood on him, apply bits of glass to the side of his head, and then come out, film another swing, pause, you know, bloody him up again. So that scene, which again lasts maybe 20 seconds, was maybe about 4 hours of filming, I think. So the attention to detail has to be there, I suppose. Otherwise, there's no point doing this. And we were sure at the beginning that we are either all the way in or we're just not doing this at all.
Me encanta. Se lanzaron, little, no budget. People from the community helping out, going out there, no permits, no te paran el tráfico, el problema de las motos, la gente curiosa. You film the movie, and it's on Amazon Prime, a major global platform. We all use Amazon Prime. How did that come about? ¿Cómo salió ese partnership with Amazon? 'Cause
Again, just aiming for the top, I suppose. Amazon, a few years ago, used to take any old garbage. In the last few years, they've really clamped down on what they're taking.
I suppose there's a strict criteria list which you have to...
Their sort of quality control process is pretty big.
Okay.
You need to have it at the right format, and the sound needs to be mixed at the right level. You need to supply closed captions, which are like subtitles. which need to be timed with the characters. So there's a lot of work you need to do even before you approach Amazon. And they accepted the film. So through Amazon, it's out in the UK, US. It's having a release in Germany shortly as well. And also one in Japan soon. So that's with Amazon. We have another contract with Future Today, which is a US cable channel.
Okay, so it's a traditional linear television on cable.
That's right. So Future Today work with the likes of HBO and other big platforms, so the film could end up there. They don't really inform us of those sort of things. They buy the license and then they do what they want with it. And that's okay, because you know we want the film to be out there. We want it to be watched.
Y vale la pena. I'm going to ask you, ¿hace dinero now?
We haven't made our budget back,
Of course.
to put it that way.
Yeah.
But you know, the film's been out for like a month.
It's only been out there for a month.
Yeah. But some money does get generated, but it's a slow thing. Gone are the days when you could sell a film for a lump sum. You know, studios will buy your film for like 50 grand or whatever. That's being seen less and less. So the way to go now is streaming platforms, royalties, and the likes.
And do they get back to you with any feedback, with views?
Yeah, we do
y ese
get...
tipo de stats and detail?
Yeah, we do get minutes streamed. So not so much the purchasers, although we can see how many are purchased, but it goes by how many minutes. I think we're close to 6,000 minutes streamed, which isn't a hell of a lot, but it's still quite a bit, considering that the majority of those streams come from other countries that are not GIB. And like I said earlier, we have quite a big fan base that's growing around the world. I'm getting messages from people that I've never met just to say that they like the film, that they want
¿Qué te
to...
cuentan? What do they...
Well, a lot of these people are fans of Costas, so he's really our marketing point there.
Claro.
But a lot of these fans, you know, just want to thank you for your work, maybe get an autograph. We've had a few bits of fan mail coming in, a few gifts as well from fans.
¿Gifts como qué? ¿Se puede
Like-
preguntar y contar on live television? Or no?
Yeah, of course, things like fan art, you know. Just,
Fan art.
Yeah, their
That's
own...
a new thing, no?
It is, yeah. But I've had a drawing of my character done for me, which is really amazing. I never thought I'd see somebody draw me, you know, from around the world. Bits and pieces like that. A lot of people buying merch. We have a merch store. We have a website, creephouseentertainment.com. So, yeah, people are really engaging with the film, which is nice.
Fantástico.
It's nice for me as the writer and the director to know that people enjoy it.
So, Tragic Waste, it's out there. People can view it on Amazon. It's stream, está haciendo bien.
Yeah.
What is the next step? I mean, it's already on Amazon. So, are you now trying to secure contracts with other platforms or TV stations? ¿Y qué? ¿Tiene más apetito de escribir más?
If I'm honest with you, the film right now is we've left it to be its own animal. It's going to do its own thing, and we'll let it grow on its own. Right now, I'm not focusing on so much on Tragic Waste. I'm focusing on what's next. Truth is, I don't know what's next. There's something in the works. To be completely honest with you, I have an idea, which is written on scrap paper. My producer, Orlando, has another idea. He's writing something pretty serious too. Which one of the two ideas we're going to go for next, I'm not sure. To be honest, right now, my priorities are my family, my partner, and just sort of getting a bit of rest after what was a very intense year.
Fantastic.
So kind of keeping on the down low for now, and then maybe after Christmas seeing what's next.
And enjoying the moment, ¿por qué no?
Yeah.
no? Well, mira, I'm going to invite on set now our two contributors. You've already met them, Mr. Cardona and The Rouge. I'm going to call them on set. I don't know whether they might have watched the movie or no. Mr. Cardona me da a mí que no le gusta las películas de miedo. Porque él da miedo.
I haven't.
Good evening.
Hello.
Sentarse.
Hi, Nigel.
Hey.
Siéntate. You started off
Ya,
by
I'm
saying
bossing me around.
que
Siéntate ahí.
No, sí, ya.
¿Sí?
You started off by saying que estoy muy tranquilo.
Está tranquilito, claro.
No estoy tranquilo.
No está
Estoy
tranquilo.
asustado. I've just watched the trailer, ya estoy asustado.
Ah, well.
I am not a fan of horror movies. Sorry, pero that's the truth.
Maybe
no?
I can
I
convince
mean,
you otherwise.
No, porque I end up eating a cushion and stuff like that.
I have watched the movie. I had to watch some of it like that, I have to say.
That's a good sign for me.
It's very. There's some bits are quite scary. I mean, así estaba yo. A mi marido le gusta, pero it was a bit gruesome.
Y mira, as local viewers, how was the experience watching at Gibraltar, which wasn't Gibraltar, no? Pero it was at Gibraltar. We recognise it as our Gibraltar.
I want to ask a few, like, how did you get the car park so empty?
We shot that scene at about 3 in the morning on a work night.
Pero no había, on a work night, porque no había coche.
No, because that car park is used for swimmers and track athletes.
I know where it is.
Yeah, Lathbury.
Yeah.
So
I've been there. I thought I recognised it. I loved as well the like the shots of the old town. Like I was trying to work out
that.
Turnbull's Lane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turnbull's Lane because I live on the other side. Also.
A mí me encantó.
Well, some of it
de la
like
calle
where
Hamilton
Waterport
Street.
Terraces is along there,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
where they find the thing in the body in the sea.
that's right. Yeah.
You see, and
No, it's okay.
that was cool. Like, no, I'm not going to say any more. But trying to work out was fun as a Gibraltarian.
Yes. There's another layer of
Mira,
how
una
fun
cosa,
watching
Nigel,
the movie.
it's interesting because I was listening to what you were saying before about the sound pollution, if you see what I mean, no? Which was actually a comment that one of our viewers actually made a couple of weeks ago.
That's
no?
right,
About the amount of sound pollution. I mean, I can understand that porque sometimes in Gibraltar the amount of background noise que hay, you know, I mean, even things like, for example, pile driving. I go up the rock quite often, no? And you can actually hear some of the sounds. You know, pile driving in one of the construction sites all the way up.
Yeah.
Y una de las cosas que me di cuenta recently, you remember when they did the Sound Fest in La Piazza?
Yeah.
No? Bueno, would you believe that you could actually hear it better from up the rock
Yeah.
than
Because it travels up.
in Mackintosh Square? Porque I was actually walking when whoever it was doing a sound check, no? Y digo, se escucha mejor de aquí arriba. you know?
Would you believe that when people sit on the bench just below my window, me entero de todo?
Yo por eso no me siento ahí.
Es famosa, ¿eh?
No,
Sound
no
te
soy
sientes
famosa
en
para
el
nada.
bench de donde vive
No.
Michel Ruggeroni.
Por eso es.
Tengo un bench. Yo vivo en Main Street y hay un bench debajo de la ventana en mi bedroom. If it's the quiet of the night, when they're sitting there chatting, the sound travels up. We hear everything. It's not like I can control it.
I remember years ago when the fair used to be where Commonwealth Park is.
Yeah.
¿Vale? And I live quite near to there. I live in George's Lane. Y era la vez de una tómbola que era un reloj y otro reloj y otro reloj. Y parecía que el tío del reloj estaba metido en mi sala, you know?
Sí.
Yeah? I mean, you don't appreciate how much sound travels,
does, it
no?
really does.
So
Gibraltar,
I can
no?
understand that it must be a problem for you guys,
Big problem.
especially if you want to create an atmosphere of that kind of sinister kind of atmosphere.
Also, when you have big actors come into Gib to do these these shoots, it can be quite embarrassing.
Sí.
When the noise is so bad that you're asking them, sorry, we couldn't understand or we couldn't pick that up very clearly. Can you do it again? There's an element of embarrassment there.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Pero eso es libertad, ¿no?
Okay, guys, one of the things I was telling him que I loved, I'm going to stand up because, mira, vamos a ver la de gente, y as local viewers, you've watched it, la de gente que we recognize, la de gente. Te vas a venir tú para acá, Nigel, conmigo. Mira, we're going to do this for the first time porque estamos de estreno contigo. We're going to use el video
Fun,
board.
vamos a ver una película.
Vamos a ver una película un poquito. Pero
You've
mira,
already mentioned somebody that I know quite well.
eso iba a decir, la parte de la película that not many people stay on to watch, the list of the credits, all those people involved in the production, and we're going to roll it, Wes. The number of people, porque los credits roll, and they're all different names, and they'll just roll and roll. I think we're going to get it on screen, and we're going to fish out a few names.
Harriet.
Harriet, que la
Cecilia
conocemos
también,
en
I know
Gibraltar.
her. Orlando, I know him too.
Ex-pupil.
Ahí está el niño, Nigel
Jaime,
Canepa.
el Carl, amigo mío.
Peter McKay.
Aaron, Jared took part in Hotel El Janito.
Aaron Caballero.
Charlie también.
Tony Lodo.
Tony Lodo.
Sí.
Guy Olivero.
Guy Olivero, que no conoce a Guy Olivero del Horseshoe, ¿no? Now, all these, they're just the actors.
Nigel Palmer, Surian.
Surian Almedo, que she had a cameo, ¿no?
Sean Gavito.
All these are the actors.
Martin
Just the
Nusa.
actors who appeared on screen in bigger roles, in small roles, in cameo roles.
Gavito.
And now, the story and the screenplay, Nigel Canepa, the executive
William
producer,
Infante.
director of photography, Jim Crone. Se nota, el tío calidad. The photography was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It really was.
And then all the other elements that people don't know, and the logistics of making a movie, no? Camera operators, Leme. Yeah, Bart. Everybody knows Bart.
Yeah,
he's
Bart
there as well.
He was also the boom operator, Bart. He worked with boom. Johan was second assistant. Graham was the drone pilot.
Cheryl from
Cheryl,
makeup,
Marlene.
Art Francie Crew, pizza, and yourself who are also actors. You also had other
That's
roles.
right, yeah.
Cyan,
My partner.
Cyan, she comes up
And all the
I'm named there
local
as well,
music.
my band.
there. Mira,
Dead
todos los
City
músicos,
Radio.
all
Dead
these are
City
the
Radio,
music
eh?
scores, the tracks,
Games.
and they're all
Yeah.
local
Yeah.
musicians and performers.
Well, most of. So Tim Kulig is a big composer in the US who did the bulk of it, of the soundscapes, rather.
Yeah,
not the-
Pero
not
que
the
tenemos
soundtrack.
loads of locals ahí.
Some Ian Russo.
Dead
of
City
course.
Radio. You
Ian
performed with
Russo.
them on Saturday. Ian Russo.
My
you
friend the
mentioned.
spaceman.
That's him.
Digo. Ay,
So-
qué bien.
And the credits are
Mira
still
que lo
rolling.
Delta Security, a local company who did security on set.
And all the venues you used as well, and all the associations and groups who took part, no?
Yeah.
Gibraltar Car Parks, Land Property Paparazzi, Jewelry, St. John's Ambulance. Todo ese detallito, mira. And the credits are now finishing, and we've been here for a while now, no? So the number of people, just visualizing it, no? Qué bonito, no? A community with no industry.
Yeah.
Coming together, producing a movie. Escucha, y sí, escucha, pu. The movie's on Amazon
You
Prime.
know what I'm going to say? No, le vamos a dar un badge al niño.
Le vamos a dar un badge al niño y le tenemos que inventar un Oscar local o algo así ya.
Claro.
¿no? ¿Eh?
Ahora, how do you direct it, produce it, and take part in it?
I'm not sure, but
Who tells you what to do?
it's funny you say that because
He's trying to figure it out himself.
Well, it's true, no? Normally you're told, ponte aquí, ponte para allá, da la vuelta.
yeah. So actually, the director of photography, Jim Crone, actually always said it and still says it to this day that he doesn't know how I did everything at the same time. But to answer your question in brief, when there are scenes that I am acting, usually Jim will take over as director for that brief scene, or Orlando, for
Right.
example. But even still, while I'm sort of doing my scene with, for example, I'm doing a scene with you, and we're feeding off each other, I will still direct you and tell you how I want you to say your lines and such, and then, because that's what a director does. Even on set, he has an important say, even if he's acting in that scene.
Guys, y lo vamos a dejar ahí. Pues ya la curiosidad de la gente. We want to drive them somewhere. Where should they go if they want to watch a movie?
Amazon Prime,
And the name of the movie?
Tragic Waste,
And why should people go and watch?
because it's local, it's good fun, it's gory, and yeah, because I made it.
Fantástico.
Yes, that's a good
Hombre.
enough reason.
Me gusta,
Oh,
me
yes.
gusta. Me gusta que vamos a
Good.
invitar lo que se quede a part 2, because it's that time of the week where
Uy,
we
el pobre, he's so
dive
about
into
that.
all those issues that are the talk about town. Remember, you can send your issues, cirples@gbc.gi. We're going to be discussing them after this very short break. We're back in two ticks. Do stay with us. See you now. Welcome back. You with Cirples on this Monday night, 9:51. We're coming to you live from Broadcasting House. That time of the week when we delve into all those issues which are the talk about town. Cirples@gbc.gi. They're already coming into that email address. We're going to move on to that, but before we do, our cameraman, que siempre nos pregunta, vente por aquí, vente por aquí. You had a question for our guest tonight. Y mira, I've got a lollipop mic. Por aquí. Y ya la cámara te busca, you know. You had a question for our guest.
Well, yeah, I think horror might be the hardest that genre that your actors could act. No, moments of sheer terror.
Yeah.
Is there any other genre that you would explore in the future, or you're sticking to?
Maybe in the future. Right now, I'm very invested in horror. But as you said, yeah, it is a tough one. You need to pull on music, soundtrack, all that creates that tension. But for now, I'm, in love with horror, and the company's Creep
That's your
House
passion.
Entertainment. So yeah, exactly.
Muy bien.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. We love having you come on as well. Thank you very much. Guys, the talk about town, todo el pueblo, hoy ha estado hablando about one person, Tyrone Buttigieg, el bombero. Success for another Gibraltarian, another young Gibraltarian, who has said publicly in the interview we had there and then, moments after the win, it's a dream, but it's come with a lot of hard work, no? Young people triunfando, setting their mind to it, but it's not just about setting your mind to it, I think, no? It's about the hard work. We have that magical moment cuando se declaró ganador. Tyrone Buttigieg, el bombero.
Para el ganador, este combate, ganador a 2 puntos por división unánime. A WBC Continental Latin Silver, Tyrone.
Of course, El Bombero beat Venezuelan boxer Ernesto Martinez, with the judges awarding Tyrone the win by unanimous decision. This was on Saturday night at Casino Admiral in San Roque. ¿Qué pensamos? Another Gibraltarian triumph, no?
Bueno, pero you just said it, no? Hard work, basically. Y eso, I think, what Nigel has achieved in his field and what Tyrone has achieved in another field, sporting field, has come through a lot of hard work. And I think that is important because as role models for younger people, you don't get anywhere without a lot of hard work, and not unless you win the national lottery or something like that. Pero, sí, and basically the other issue is both of you have had to sort of move beyond the boundaries of Gibraltar, no?
Yeah.
Tú sabes, you're not...
Can I add to
You're a
Yeah,
little...
claro, hombre.
¿Cómo te puedo decir? You're not a big fish in a little pond. You're a little fish in a huge pond, no?
But I'll tell you something though that I haven't mentioned so far. But success often depends on your parental support.
I know, yeah.
For example, I'm also a guitarist locally, and I'm very appreciative of my early teenage years of my father giving me £6 to go to Philip Valverde and have those lessons, or buying me the latest top of the range guitar when I was 15. And if I hadn't had that support from my parents, I would have been half as successful. Not only my parents, but my partner.
Nigel, no hace falta que nos dé lessons on parenthood. We've been there, okay? We've been there, so we know what we are talking about. Y es que, I mean, what do I know Nigel from?
Hombre, que debéis sí.
¿Vale?
Yeah.
Te lo digo, eh? And I mean, I don't think it's embarrassing to say, pero my son and Nigel, once upon a time, used to play roller hockey. Yeah?
A very violent sport.
Yeah.
Roller hockey.
Roller hockey.
Roller hockey.
Roller
que
hockey.
era en Colling Island, no? If I remember right.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
used
that's
to have
right.
like a skate park type thing
Yeah.
there, yeah. Yeah, digo.
Just pulling it back into, obviously, this gentleman who's a boxer, I'm sure that from a young age, his parents paid for lessons, boxing lessons and so on.
Yeah.
No man is self-made. There's always a bubble of support.
Network ahí, ¿no?
Exactly.
Y el support network es importante, tanto que a veces se alegran tanto o más than you guys who are achieving, especially your parents, ¿no? They're always going to be super proud of what you've achieved. Y alguien, support y super proud del bombero, someone very well known, because I think he was the second protagonist that night, and perhaps he was the biggest winner. Vamos a ver. There was someone there on the night who was a second protagonist with el Tyrone Buttigieg, el bombero. that clip.
What's that? Esto.
No te la voto,
Damas y caballeros, nos vamos a ir con las cartulinas. Ladies and gentlemen, we belong with the scar. Title!
The second
Wow.
protagonist of the
That
night,
was pretty-
Minister for
Escúchame.
Trade, Nigel Canepa.
Pretty spontaneous.
I would like to have Nigel Feetham giving a ministerial statement tomorrow. ¿Qué hace ahí?
Hombre, he's enjoying the event. He's
No,
obviously
sí,
a
pero
fan
I
of
enjoy
boxing.
the event, pero no estoy en el ring ahí.
Pero,
There might be some valid reason.
He's there.
why
I mean,
he's
he's
there on
been
the
supporting.
ring.
He's been supporting El Bombero
Sí, está bien.
throughout his career. He was there. He was there for the previous ones as well. Yo te digo una cosa. I've loved watching that clip, and I've replayed it in the GBC newsroom because I see the genuine alegría of the win there. No, and let's forget, it's a January Nigel Feetham, the minister for ta. This is Nigel ahí. El Nigel celebrating and really celebrating the success of a young person there in Spain. Mira, después the Gibraltar national anthem sang by our very own Nathan Bias as well.
Yeah, I saw
during that night twice. He was caught up with it. Y se ve la alegría,
Well, it's
¿no?
a
And
very-
the importance of supporting people like that. Qué alegría tener a alguien así de cheerleader, eh?
As you were telling me before, I mean, it's a very important trophy that he's won, no?
Yes. Of course, it's
I mean,
very
for
important.
Gibraltar
For
and
Gibraltar, I
just-
mean, we haven't had a boxer
boxing.
at that level.
Yeah.
And many things are coming. He was telling us he's already working on the next step. He was on Gibraltar today as well, today talking about it. So there's more to come from Tyron Buttigieg, El Bombero. Nada, una alegría, y a Nigel Feetham más, ¿no?
But is he actually a bombero?
Yes.
Ah, he is.
Again,
It's
the
like a
other
side
argument.
It's
You
like
mean,
it's
you
like
mean
the-
Tyron, not Nigel?
No, yeah, that's what I mean.
Vale.
People
This Nigel?
succeeding as
No,
well.
ese Nigel.
People succeeding, not being full-time in the
Well,
sport
exactly.
or in film, and still succeeding.
Because that's what I asked him. Is that your
Claro.
proper job, filmmaking? And you said, no, I'm a teacher at Bayside.
Claro.
That's right, yeah.
I tried my
So your
best.
filming is just a side hustle.
Yeah.
Este fue student mío también.
También.
Estuvo allí, sí.
Now you're gonna-
And
you're
sí,
gonna take all the credit for
I
his
tried my
wonderfulness.
best to dissuade him from taking up teaching. Pero cuando menos ha visto que he's going more
Bueno,
into
about
the
teaching.
film
Yo me voy a poner con el maestro escuela. We're going to move on. Un tema un poquito más serio. Prostate cancer. Of course, we know the Walnuts campaign is already underway. It was launched at City Hall November the 1st by the Mayor, Carmen Gomez. The fun walk happened this Saturday. I was down there. I spoke to many people down there, amongst them the Mayor, que nos recalcó y me gustó. And at the City Hall, she did mention that one of the main points she highlighted was she would like to campaign for the lowering of the age to 40. Para hacerse testing para los PSAs.
Yeah.
She repeated that line on Saturday at that event, calling on the health authority to lower the recommended age for PSA testing to 40.
Well, they've done it for the breast cancer
That's interesting.
patients in Gibraltar. Yeah, they
Okay.
lowered it to 40. It's 50 in the UK. And in Gib, they campaigned, the breast cancer support group, and they got it changed to 40, which I know has saved at least 3 or 4 of my friends' lives.
Yeah.
Esto es como las pensiones, gender discrimination, otra vez.
¿Qué quiere que te diga? Que,
No es
que
que le
sigan.
diga que no, sí.
Well, mira,
I mean, if they
importantly
lowered
there-
it for women, why don't they lower it for men?
Well, that's what Carmen Gomez
Important
is trying
there,
to do.
Carmen
Yeah,
Gomez,
good for her.
with that message, calling on the health authority for the lowering of age. And it's also Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. At Gibraltar, we have our own walking miracle, Louis Baldacchino. Let's watch Louis first, and then we'll talk about it.
I mean, next year hopefully is my 10-year survival mark. which I very obviously proud of, and the support I've been given from my family, my wife, my sons, my friends. They've been marvelous. Obviously, they've helped me all the way along. But I've been one of the lucky ones that has survived for such a long time. It's very scary statistics that we have for Gibraltar. The survival rate is only 9 months, which is, as I said, very scary statistic. So yes, I mean, absolutely fantastic day, especially that the messages have been delivered.
His
Wow.
Luis
What a testament, huh?
A walking miracle. Few people survive beyond the 3-year mark. Luis coming up to his 10th anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him. And he's always so proactive and taking part in all these events. And I see him a lot, I think.
He's the 1%, no, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the survival rate for pancreatic is very, very low. My father-in-law passed from it a few years ago. I think he lasted about a year and 10 months. So on the short side. And yeah, you know, towards the end especially, he sort of went downhill very, very quickly. And it wasn't a very pleasant experience, but
Horrible.
I think it's one of the worst cancers you can get,
Yeah,
pancreatic.
It's very hard to detect, which is why Luis tirelessly every year campaigning for heightened awareness. It's very difficult to identify, but he wants people to get checked as soon as they, como dice él, si your body's not acting normal or te nota algo raro, just get checked. It's the best way, or at least it's the best way to try and identify or si qué te pasa, or if you've got pancreatic cancer or cualquier otra cosita, ¿no?
Bueno, lo mismo que when we were here the last time,
with
¿no?
the two,
The two gentlemen who were here, que estaban hablando de the fact
with
that
James and Alec.
yeah, they didn't feel ill,
Exactly.
Yeah.
but they had cancer,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is kind of scary,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
see what I mean, ¿no?
Yeah.
¿Vale? Más que tu horror movie, la verdad, ¿no?
Yeah.
Que tú te encuentres bien y de pronto no esté bien,
Yeah.
if you see what I mean, ¿no?
Claro, te cambia la vida.
Yeah.
Guys, talking about horror movies and nightmare scenarios, but a strong show of solidarity from Gibraltar, Valencia. Of course, those floods, those torrential rains, el desastre, la tragedia. A team from Gibraltar, from MH Bland, arrived in Valencia yesterday.
Well done, Mandy.
Mandy Gallero.
Gallero.
Okay, we got a little clip from Mandy.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity on behalf of the MH Bland and Calypso Tours community to send a massive thank you to every single person, just too many to mention, for putting together and making this incredible effort happen. From the generosity of all those living and working in Gibraltar, to the team who helped sort, pack and look after every single logistics detail, and especially to Ben. I don't want to single anybody out, but he really did come to our rescue at the last minute. I'm so proud and really a little emotional to be part of both the Order of Malta and the MH Bland families who transcend borders and have come together to help our neighbours in need.
Mandy.
A big well done there.
And everybody at MH
well
Bland.
done everybody who donated,
And everybody.
Absolutely.
Claro, que many Gibraltarians, and now there's multiple teams across Gibraltar working towards the same goal and hopefully going up to Valencia with more raids, no?
I've been following this story, no? I watch the Spanish news in the morning when I have breakfast, so estoy bastante al día de lo que está pasando,
Claro.
¿no? Y estamos hablando de solidarity, ¿no? Y unity, eso. One of the things that I find sad, or maybe even disgusting, is the fact that you have in Spain people making politics out of people's misfortune, ¿vale? Tú sabes, el PP, el otro, el Abascal ese, and things like that, ¿no? Making these statements, you know, trying to make politics out of a natural disaster, basically. Que está asqueroso eso, really.
I don't think the Spanish government did enough quick enough.
Pedro
Well,
Sánchez
that's what they're
today
saying.
Pero
has-
somebody else was telling me de que en Valencia, por ejemplo, que el gobierno autónomo del PP, yeah, they had instigated these spending cuts. So part of the department, or the department which actually looks after things como la alcantarilla and protección civil y eso, they had been you know, esto, ¿cómo lo llaman? The people who look after the forests and things like that, ¿cómo lo llaman? They had actually been cut down.
Yeah.
Con que they didn't have enough people to respond, and they haven't been maintaining these things.
And the other thing that happened was that a lot of people ran to their cars thinking, there's a flood, let's get in the car, and they all got stuck in that horrendous underground parking and drowned. Families drowned in their cars.
I mean, this afternoon, Pedro Sanchez announced a new series of measures. People will not have to pay mortgages. There's financial aid going. Many are criticising, especially the opposition, they're now criticising a little too late, perhaps, no? Gibraltar, mientras tanto, sigue ayudando. There's other teams and groups in Gibraltar gathering aid. Y se van a ir a Valencia, like Mandy and MH Plant did, and support the people out there who really need it.
And as a community, I think we're very good at that. We should be very
I think so. I think
proud
we
of
should be
ourselves.
very
I think everybody...
proud.
Yeah.
Bueno,
Que hablando de community, en el pueblo, ¿qué te ha pasado a ti con los pigeons esta semana? Me dicen a mí.
Well, no, George, a friend of mine, sent me a message saying that outside a certain shop, this little boy dropped his packet of crisps. The crisps went everywhere, and within like 3 seconds, there was about 80 pigeons there.
Tenemos un problema de pigeons en
Y
libertad,
dice que
¿no?
they're vermin. They are. They're rats. It's
flying
vermin.
rats.
Yeah.
Flying rats. Están llenos de
¿Tú
bichitos.
has estado en el Apes Den? ¿En el Apes Den?
Yo no, not recently.
Ve por el Apes Den. Eso está minado.
And he
Minado
was
de
wondering
palomo.
whether something could be done about the amount of pigeons. Can't they cull them or
Pues mira,
Culling animals.
ship them off somewhere
Por
else?
favor. No veas,
What?
todos los animal rights lovers.
Horrible.
bueno, pues ya sabemos que Michelle
But I
tiene algo
don't
con los
know.
pigeons. A ver
Tú has
cómo
escuchado
responde
lo
el
que ha
pueblo
dicho, ¿eh?
mañana, ¿no?
Tú-
Mira, guys,
mañana no veas. Va a tener gente afuera de tu
Mira.
banco siguiéndote.
Well, I'm not going to say it.
Better not.
we've had a few
They are,
emails
they
come
are.
in.
It's vermin.
A few have pictures. Unfortunately, we can't put on screen now because we need to
Did
edit
you
them.
put the picture that I sent? I think I
We've
sent
got the
you
picture of
one.
the pigeons, no? Which the
Ah,
pictures,
you
what
saw.
you explained to us, I
Yeah.
think. And there we go again.
Yeah, yeah.
Not? Mira, I've got here one from Anthony Sene, who watches, is one of our loyal viewers, and addressing a Kenneth, Mr. Cardona. Hi, guys. One for el crack de Kenneth. Kenneth, apparently quite a few of the EU-regulated fireworks sold locally have been banned by the authorities. Wrong decision because it means that there will be loads more illegally imported, non-regulated fireworks around. ¿Qué opina, Mr. Cardona?
Pero, espérate, es que no.
This
no.
is the new fireworks act, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. But I don't understand why, if they are regulated by the EU, ¿vale? They ought to be banned. I mean, somebody ought to explain this to us. Esto no me cuadra a mí, and I'm thinking that's where Anthony is coming from.
Our
no?
understanding is that a pop-up shop will open up in due course, selling fireworks which are permitted in Gibraltar for use within those stipulated times
Pero
under
hay
the
una
new
tienda
Fireworks
ya,
Act,
¿no?
que era the New Year
11
period,
till
¿no?
1 o algo.
Hay algo así.
There is a
Hay una
supplier.
tienda.
Yeah.
There is a
Sí,
supplier.
but now this
¿Cómo
will
se
be
llama?
the only outlet in
Pyrotechnics,
Gibraltar licensed to sell this,
I've
no?
never bought a firework in my life.
Yeah, I know.
Bueno, ya veremos. We're round the
Yo
corner
soy
from Christmas.
a regular customer every year.
Ya se escuchan los petardos. Let's keep our ears peeled y vamos mirando si ya se escuchan petardos, which is outside of the law ahora. So let's keep an eye on that and our ears open to that.
Yeah.
We've got loads coming in. We've got loads that we received during the week. Me paró Sonia, que me dice que ella y su hermana, of a certain age, como me gusta me decir, señoras muy señora, le da miedo cruzar en dos zebra crossings en Gibraltar. Uno en Coral Road, ahí de donde estaba el Peralta antiguo. We've got that on screen, I think. Coral Road zebra crossing, they're telling me que para cruzar, they
Oh, that
think
road.
the traffic there, the oncoming cars and traffic, forgets there's a zebra crossing there. And if we look at the picture, perhaps I think se comprende el
Well,
porqué.
what happens? The cars are coming from the casemates area.
They
There's
do-
not a lot of.
Yeah.
Of space there, and also
Yeah.
there's
quite
little
dark,
in the
isn't
run
it?
up to it. It's dark. It's under
With
a
the time-
bridge.
Yeah.
The lights are not on. They're not
Yeah.
blinking or flashing.
Yeah.
So especially if you're not local, you wouldn't know there's a traffic
mejor
a zebra
ahí-
crossing under.
Maybe what they need there is no hay traffic
Pretty
lights.
dark.
No, perhaps a pelican crossing.
Sí,
Yes.
las luces. Porque
Maybe
así lo
an
ves.
idea.
Lo
Like
que
in
pasa es
Queensway.
Yeah.
if you're coming round that
Yeah.
bend there,
Quite
de pronto
sharp,
te lo
quite tight, te lo
encuentra ahí, el
encuentra.
zebra
Sí.
crossing.
And even us, I think we forget. I mean, it's too tight. Y no hay carteles warning you of a zebra crossing. The lights are under the bridge. It should be blinking,
it's a
no?
bit dark there.
It's a bit dark as well, no? They also highlighted a second one, obviously it's la rutina, they go in the area, Glasses Road, lo que llamábamos antiguamente la curva al medio. It's probably too young to remember la curva al medio, no?
Yeah.
But there's another image of that zebra crossing, there by Glasses Road.
Oh,
Again,
yes.
it seems
But
people forget there's a lot of trees there, so perhaps the lights no se ven, perhaps.
They've got those lollipop things with
Yeah.
the yellow,
Yeah.
which is better than the other place has.
See, it's more open at
But yeah,
least.
that could also do with the traffic light thing where you press the button and it...
Sí, hombre.
Yeah. Perhaps more lighting,
Yeah.
warning, no?
Lo que pasa es que there's a pelican crossing, like 50 meters just in front of that, ¿no? Ahí cuando...
Enfrente
da
del
la
kiosco Las
curva
Palmeras.
Sí,
Ok.
ahí está.
Yeah.
Ahí.
El kiosco de las palmeras. ¿Cómo sabes tú que se llama eso?
El kiosco La Palmera toda la vida.
¿Sí?
Dice Cardona. You're
Bueno,
with
yo
me for
no.
this one,
¿Esta
no?
mujer de dónde viene?
No,
¿Tú de
eso,
dónde
mi
vienes?
marido, eso es lo que dice mi marido, que no soy
She
Janita
hasn't walked
Janita.
north past Lamport, me parece a mí, ¿eh?
¿Tú alguna
Ahora, pero don't have a go at me, ¿vale?
No,
Que
no.
Tú estás supuesto a estar muy tranquilito.
No, pero es que tú me sofocas.
Bueno, what do we think?
No sabes
Haven't
lo
done
del
it.
kiosco La Palmera.
Yo me voy
Lo
con
de
la persona
curva al
sensata.
medio,
Nigel,
¿sabes?
what do you think perhaps we could do to
Curva al
improve the
Sí.
situation there for Sonia and her sisters?
Well, I don't think a traffic light is the answer.
Okay.
The road where Ramson's is,
Yeah.
that is already really
Yes.
packed with traffic lights
Yes.
leading up to where you got the evacuation roundabout.
And you can get caught in every single light.
Yeah.
Me pasa a mí mucho.
Yeah, it happens to me at 3:30 every day. So I don't think another light is...
Pelican, no
Yeah.
Pelican Crossing, no el pi, 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 pi. Le damos el botón and it actually
Sí, pero
stops the
exacto.
traffic.
Sorry, Nigel, pero es que o se pasan o no llegan, if you see what I mean, ¿vale? I understand what you're saying about that stretch of Waterport Road, que hay por lo menos 4 luces, una detrás del otro. Ahí a lo mejor se han pasado un poco,
Yeah.
pero then a lo mejor hace falta en un sitio como ese y no está. You
Or
know what I mean?
maybe people just need to be patient and wait for cars to stop. I think we get to a zebra crossing and we want to cross. And I get that it's dangerous, but with a bit of patience...
Yeah. Pero
we'll get there.
there are a number of people who seem to think también, ¿vale? De que a zebra crossing is like a magic carpet. Yeah? You get there. Y te lo digo, as a biker, for example, you need more space
Yeah.
to be able to brake, ¿no? Y a veces se te echan ahí a la calle que dicen, tú que no me ves de venir. Hello, ¿no?
I have to say that there's a new zebra crossing in the new bike lane por ahí de Europort as you turn the corner and go towards Queensway,
Okay.
where the Take and Bake and Take is, or Take and Bake. Anyway, the zebra there, which crosses over to one of the schools, has 6 or 4 pictures on it. It's the strangest thing. I went past it and went, what on earth is that?
Pictures again.
Well, if you're crossing the road, I don't know, no sé. I have to go and look at it again. I'm going to go and
mira,
take a picture.
One for you to explore.
Tiene
Toma un
pictures.
picture, mándamelo, because emails keep coming in. Mira, tenemos uno from Jason Mesilio, amigo tuyo. One for you. Kev, I just realized que I accidentally gate crashed the recording of the movie del Shabbat sin querer as I arrived to Lathbury Pool for a session. Gibraltarian actor ran towards me and I thought it was a GBC Open Day thing. Jason Mesilio. We're talking about the challenges of filming in Gibraltar, la gente curioseando and going about life. Ahí tú no, claro, tú no había cortado el
Sí,
tráfico.
porque,
Tell him he's forgiven.
Oh, Jason Mesilio, el
sí,
chiquillo, te
porque
perdona.
Jason no es curioso. At all. At all. ¿Qué va?
Guys, mira, one thing, because we got a musician here on set and we're running out of time, but I do want to mention it's quite new. It was published this afternoon, late this afternoon, across the border in Algeciras. They're calling it La Navidad sin silencios. Levanta la barrera del ruido para las fiestas de Navidad. So from the 1st of December and into January, they're lifting all restrictions on music and loud noise associated to parties and with festivities, so people can enjoy una Navidad sin silencios. How do you feel about that? Tú eres un músico.
I feel torn. As a musician, I'd say that's brilliant.
Okay.
There's no fear of the police stopping a live concert. It's happened to me before. I've been ready to play a show, worked for weeks on end, hours upon hours of rehearsal, for the police to come and say, no, this is done because we've had a complaint and it's beyond 11. So on the one side, brilliant, awesome. But then I can also understand that as a citizen, you know, it's also not right to have music going till 5, 6 in the morning. So I don't know. I'm really not sure.
What would you consider reasonable?
I think reasonable.
En Pacua.
Given that it's Christmas,
yeah.
Maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. I think that's reasonable.
One or two.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a...
You guys live in town?
Yeah.
I don't think it's just a Christmas thing, ¿vale? Porque,
Yellow alert
like Nigel has
activated.
just said, ¿vale? You can
Yellow
understand
alert
that, for example,
activated.
from Sunday to Thursday,
Yellow
yeah,
alert.
people have to go to
activated.
work the next day. Pero
Yellow alert.
Friday nights and Saturday nights in particular, I don't see why you have to stop music at 11. O mejor hasta la 1.
Can I tell you
Ahora,
what's just
que
as bad?
esto de being able to have
Démosle yellow alerts,
a
con que ya hay
freebie.
que ser wrapping up.
What's just as bad is the 5 a.m. wake up start with the cleaning of the streets every single day all summer.
So no te gusta at 5 a.m.
I'd rather have it at night, enjoy the music. At 5 a.m. la verdad que no me gusta, ¿no?
Okay.
Okay.
Y hemos voto por la ventana more than once.
Okay.
To which I've been shouted back at.
Mira, we received
bueno.
a lot. They continue coming in. Unfortunately, this week, loads have pictures. Que our viewers should know we need the time in order to process those photos to get them on the screen for you. So we'll be digging them up next week. Mira, una cosita. Tengo un compañero here at GBC who's un fuera serie. He's a star, Daniel Guanon. He works in production. He's a production assistant. Esta semana no hay GBC Rewind, el programa que llamo Cosa Antigua, because we got live football, so live football on GBC this Friday, con que digo, mira, yo al audience de GBC, que no va a tener GBC Rewind, yo voy a sacar algo del GBC Archive. Y tenemos una cosita que no sé, maybe it's just a ticket.
Take a break, just get away. Have a simply super holiday.
At Exchange Travel, we have the perfect combination for an unforgettable holiday, full of beautiful sights, fun and entertainment, new cultures, excellent service and value for money. Choose the dream destination and make your dream come true. Let Exchange Travel be your ticket to the world.
Exchange is our ticket
To the world.
Oh my
Mr.
God, was that you?
Cardona.
That was me.
Pero te estoy mirando and you were like, you didn't realize it was you till the end, no?
No.
No
Do you
recollection?
remember doing that?
Yeah.
That's Mr. Cardona. ¿Qué edad tenía ahí, Mr. Cardona? When was this?
yo que sí.
1990s, ¿no?
Yo creo, espérate. Yo creo mis hijos no habían nacido todavía, so probably about 30 years ago. Yeah. I don't know. Yo, si me acuerdo bien, ahora que you reminded me, creo que era Jason Farr, who used to work for them.
Claro, Jason Farr.
And we had booked a honeymoon through them o algo así. Y dice, venga aquí, que te vamos a hacer un... Y salimos ahí.
Yeah.
Ya ves.
Pues mira, porque yo creo que
everyone
the
to see.
audience... Mira, aquí tenemos a young person. Everybody has an origin story. Let's watch that again. Mr. Cardona, ticket to the world.
Yeah.
Take a break, just get away.
They were going to put the shot of just you. Didn't give me a
At
chance to
Exchange Travel, we have the perfect combination for an unforgettable holiday, full of beautiful sights, fun and entertainment, new cultures, excellent service and value for money. Choose the dream destination and make your dream come true. Let Exchange Travel be your ticket to the world.
Exchange is our ticket
To the world.
Oh, you had loads of hair. You had a whole afro going on.
Once upon a time in the West.
Michael
Yeah.
Jackson.
Me encanta. Everybody has an origin story there. We have...
Sí, estaban más altos
Sí,
que
I
yo.
thought, es verdad.
Sí, es que estoy encogiendo.
Claro, y también está yendo así, ¿no? Más curvado, Mr. Cardona.
Escúchame, mi mujer te va a matar.
Hombre, it's nice, ¿no? Para que tú veas, GBC
sí.
collecting stories across the decades. Mucha gente no se dan cuenta. Passively in the background.
Yeah.
Chronicling life in Gibraltar. Y tenemos a Mr. Cardona, the origin
Wow,
story.
how did you find that?
Guys, thank you very much for coming on City Bus once again. Mr. Cardona, The Rouge, Nigel Canepa, que siga triunfando. Let us know how that project works out. Of any future project, people can see you Saturday at...
For the Dead
Performing,
City
claro.
Radio, 9 o'clock doors open. Dead City Radio are on at 11.
So, puede ir allí, ve a alguien who's on Amazon Prime. vamos a repetirlo, on Amazon Prime, la película Tragic Waste. People can stream it. Thank you very much for coming on the show, for sharing your story. We're out of time. We'll be calling on you guys over the next few weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ella Ferrari made them.
Ella
They're
Ferrari,
from
you
Great
did.
Ormond Street. I ordered a couple for you guys. Sorry, I didn't know you were coming last week when I ordered it.
Pues mira, we'll hunt her down.
El siguiente horror movie.
You're in.
A Nightmare on City Pulse.
Mira.
Okay.
¿Vale?
¿Qué es lo que ha vivido el chiquillo también?
Ahí está.
Pues mira, we'll be talking to her. Te debo dinero. Ella? Ella?
Ella.
I need to give you my donation. We'll be talking over the next few weeks. You were going to come on the show, I'm hoping. La traemos. We'll give you the money. We're going to go now, because we're out of time. Remember, we're back in 7 days' time till we return. Remember, go out there, build community, enjoy community, y sé feliz, gente. Good night.